Back in my younger days, when I was just kind of fresh out of high school, I used to practice jiu-jitsu. I trained in that for a few years, and there's an idea that comes from what my instructor had told me, and something that he would kind of tell a lot of the newer people, which is the idea of the roller coaster. The idea of, I'm just going to call it the roller coaster. I suppose you would call it the roller coaster line. But when people would start off, there was, for a lot of people in those early days, right, a lack of frustration, or I shouldn't say lack of, a good amount of frustration amongst newer people, especially when it came time to free roll, usually during this kind of the second half of the training sessions, because newer people would be paired up with the more experienced practitioners there, guys that were purple belts, brown belts, black belts, and basically you would free roll with them and you would just get tapped out. And in those early days, you expect it, right? You first, no one expects to go on their first time and win or anything like that. But getting 6 months in or something like that, you would notice some discouragement amongst some of the practitioners because they haven't made, seemingly any kind of great leaps towards beating these more experienced people. And one of the things that my instructor would often talk about is the idea of the roller coaster, right? He would say, hey, these guys are beating you because they've been doing it longer. They got in line for the roller coaster before you did. If you think about it that way, you kind of view it almost like one of those rides at Disney World, right? The person who gets in line first gets on the roller coaster first. And those that have been practicing for 6, 7, 8 years, well, they've been waiting in line for 6, 7, 8 years. You, the new person, have been waiting in line for 6 months. Of course, you're not going to be as good, right? They're going to reap the benefits far more because they've been waiting longer. And that's what a lot of this process is, especially with writing. It's not so much talent or even the idea of trying to figure something out. The reason why you're not getting published very well is not a matter of a lack of skill or a lack of talent that you can study. You can go and you can start studying, how to improve my dialogues, how to improve my scenes, how to improve pacing of my novels, how to kind of master more of the form of act structures and all that stuff. You can do that. But even learning that stuff, you may not be getting published. And the reason why is you haven't waited long enough in line. There is an element of simply waiting for that roller coaster, right? Waiting for it. And some people have been in line a lot longer than you. And there's a good chance that you're going to have to wait longer. That it's not so much your lack of skill, but that you're just impatient. That this thing will just take time. This actually was something very similar I said to someone earlier today, and this kind of inspired the video. At the chess club this afternoon after work, there was a kid who came in. I don't know his age, but I'm gonna guess, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, probably. Grandfather took him in, and he said he's been playing for 2 months, playing chess for 2 months, and he played pretty darn well for 2 months. I mean, he hung one piece in like 3 games. I'm pretty impressed that he only dropped a single unprotected piece like with only 2 months at that age. That for me was pretty cool. So I'm not sure maybe if he lied about his time or whatever, but regardless, you could see he was getting a bit frustrated because like he was playing me and he lost. Right, he lost all 3, and I basically told him, "You've been doing this for a couple months. I've now been doing this for." I didn't say how long. I just said I've been doing this for a long time. I wasn't gonna tell him how long, but I said I've been doing this for a long time. I'm supposed to win, all right? And it's the same thing with this process. It's a matter of time. That the reason why you're not getting the success you want may not be because you're not grinding hard enough or you're not pushing hard enough. It just might be you haven't spent enough time there. And pushing yourself further and further is probably not going to shorten that process that much. To be very frank, I especially the writing process, I don't think grinding out, 8 hours a day will somehow, 8 hours a day for 1 year will somehow make you a better writer than the person who spends 8 years writing 1 hour a day, right? I don't think in that same year you're going to get as good as the person. I think the person who spends 8 years writing 1 hour a day is going to get better, because it's not so much about the time in grade. It's about the work that you're doing, the reflections after the work is done, and then with that, digesting it, taking those ideas and coming back the next day. And there's a certain magical process that happens as time goes on. It's not just grinding. It's not just cranking things out. There's a certain magic that of adaptation. I don't know what it is, that just comes with time. You just accumulate the more you're involved with something, and it's hard to quantify what that is and how you get to that level. But the more time that you spend in the activity, just through osmosis, you tend to pick up. At least it's what I tend to find. And so I would encourage you, if you're on this process, to understand that you may not be where you're at yet just because you haven't put enough time in. It may not be a lack of skill or a lack of determination on your part, and it may not be something that can necessarily be fixed by grinding harder. Yes, it might. I imagine it'll probably improve your odds, but this could just be something where you have to wait. You have to wait for things to catch up. And in a subjective industry like writing, that's paramount. So I'm going to end it here, but just some food for thought for the day. Perhaps you're just impatient. Perhaps you need to wait a little bit longer. That this will come if you just keep repeating the same activity and you just give it a little bit more time to let it come to fruition.